think he was. I think he was in advertising on the Mirror or something.
Right.
And Maxwell wanted someone to take on the TV listings.
Oh yes.
Program, yes. TV listings magazines, but I think it was an online thing, was it? I'm not sure. Anyway, he took it on, so he would have known. He may have known Andrea.
Right.
I'm not sure, but I put a call in and there was
that's very kind.
no reply.
Oh well, let's.
He did tell me a funny story about how he got the job with Mike Malloy's help.
Right.
And this goes to the Murdoch point, because Murdoch wanted him to go over there, or he was getting him from Murdoch, but I think Murdoch wanted him. And so Mike Malloy fixed up the meeting and stood behind Maxwell. I called him Mike, and I've asked him, well, I want to know if you're interested, and if so, if Mike is, and then I'll put the two together.
Yeah.
But he was, so Maxwell was sitting where you are, I'm Mike Roberts, Malloy was behind, and they were negotiating, and a figure was given to Mike, and Mike said to me, oh, Christ, that's high, that's more than I was expecting, and certainly more than I'm getting now. So he sort of looked like that, and Mike said, no, up. And this went on for some time. Another figure was given, and Malloy was saying, up. And Mike was saying, oh no, I don't think that's quite enough. And anyway, eventually, he got to some crazy figure, he didn't tell me what it was, crazy figure, and finally, Malloy said, yep, that's okay. So he took the job. He did extremely well out of it. But that's the sort of thing, I mean, you wouldn't expect to play with a negotiator like that, or at least with how we all believed him to be a negotiator, to play games like that.
But Peter Miller told me a story about this huge falling out with Eve Pollard.
Yes, I can talk to some of that.
No.
If you want.
No, and that Maxwell was at one stage going to sack Peter Miller, or did sack him or something.
He was sacked, yeah.
That's right, and said to him, we had this meeting, and Maxwell said, and they were having this argument, blah, 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 blah. Then Maxwell looked at him and said, don't I know you from somewhere? And he said, and Peter went, yes, well, you know, I work on the paper. He said, no, somewhere else. And they met at Oxford United because Peter was a big Wimbledon supporter.
He's a director of Wimbledon.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't realise he was director.
Yeah. He was then, anyway. Right.
And Maxwell suggested, said, oh, yeah, have you got any players we should buy for Oxford? But Peter suggested, I think it was a defender called Nigel Winterburn or something like this. And Maxwell said, how much can we get him for one? And Peter said, oh, you know, it'll probably cost you $2 million or something like that. And Maxwell suggested this completely mad arrangement where if they got him for $1.5 million, he and Maxwell would split the difference. And it's just completely. Peter said, but I'm discussing my redundancy. It's kind of mad.
He didn't get to redundancy because he sued.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They had to settle, but.
And I am actually seeing Eve Pollard.
Oh, is she going to see you?
Yeah. I mean, that, you know what, that's not really relevant, that story. I mean, the falling out between her and Peter Miller. And this is an extraordinary story, but it's not particularly relevant to what I'm doing, I don't think. Because it's...
I might be able to make it relevant in a tiny way.
Well,
again, just in terms of how he is. But we'll see. Yeah.
So...
Have we started this, by the way?
Yeah,
that's
all right. No, it's fine.
So if I put on the record that you'll to put me on note.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I get approval of quotes, and I'd like to, is it possible to see the copies in case there's some inaccuracies? I'm sure there won't be, of course.
I could certainly give you approval of quotes. I would have to, but I would have to check with the publishers. I can't give.
I wasn't saying copy approval, just saying a look at, in case there's a factual thing which is not right.
What I would have to do is, again, I'd have to check that with the publishers simply because I can't show anybody anything without their approval.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, apart from quotes, I mean, quotes are absolutely fine.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. No. It's need to make sure the books. I'm sure it will be.
Yeah. I mean, I certainly don't have any objection to that, but I think at least I ought to liaise with the publishers.
Of course, really much.
And so, yes, you were talking about. I mean, whether we start at the end. I mean,
well, we could start right at the beginning, if I may. again, if there's any help, I nipped this morning. I've been thinking about it since I heard I was going to meet you, on and off, and I sat down this morning just to write headings. So they might not all work. You can always put me right, but I've called the first one amenable, or tractable, or adjustable. It's all the same, really. And it happened like this. How to approach a new publisher who has a reputation for eating babies is where I started from, and the answer is with trepidation. And the reason for that, because he came in, Maxwell that is, on July in 1984. Now I started work as a staffer. I'd done 3 years before freelancing, but staffing contract on May 1984, right. So only 2 months. And I wasn't then FOC or anything like that. So I was just a job reporter. And so he came in 2 months after I started, and one expected a settling in before you get to meet the publisher, when you might come round and say hello, or whatever it might be. So imagine my surprise when on the Saturday he took over on the Friday, on the night of the Friday, didn't he? And then the board meeting in the middle of the night, I think. So imagine my surprise when I was called up to the news desk. They had a Sunday Mirror editorial morning conference, obviously. So this was about, 10 o'clock, past 10. Got called up to the desk, so I thought I should be given my today's assignment ready. And they said, we want you to go up to see the new publisher. I thought, shit, probably not for the book, but Jesus. I wasn't expecting that. That's a poison chalice, if ever I heard one. Why is that? Oh, because he's got a press release he wants to put out. So go up and talk to him about it. Or don't get it. So I did. I can't remember if it was the 6th or 7th floor at Holborn Circus, but it was up there. You won't be able to find out. I just can't recall. So I go up to see him for the very first time. They're in this plush office, which was there before he got there, obviously. But and I sit down. He says, "Morning." So I say who I am, just a reporter. And he said, "I have this press release." I won't do the accent all the time, don't worry. And he handed me the press release. So I looked at it, and I thought, oh my God, it's not a Mirror press release. Right. It's the sort of thing that might appear in Telegraph or The Guardian. It had words in it which, with respect to Mirror readers, they wouldn't have related to it. It wasn't a Mirror press release, is what I'm saying. And it was him announcing he'd taken over and how the family of the Mirror readers would continue to be the family, that sort of thing. But written in such a way, you go, it's like shoving a Guardian page on the front page of the Sunday Mail. So I thought, what do I do? I'm not an executive. Do I say thank you very much and disappear and wait for the fallout, or do I challenge him? So this is where the amenable bit comes in. So I thought, well, I'm going to challenge him. So I said, it's very good, Mr. Maxwell, but I'm not sure I'd have written it like that for our Daily Mirror readers. What do you mean? I said, well, for example, I can't remember the words, but there were some words there which so this word, for example, we wouldn't use in the Mirror, and this word too. He said, well, how would you write it? So I rewrote the press release. It wasn't PR, as you know. And we went through it together. And he didn't have any problem with that. And I was expecting him to bite my head off. Right. Or say, how dare you? Anyway, he didn't do that at all. So when I came back down with a piece of paper, gave it to the news desk said, are you still here? So I said, well, yeah, so far. So that was that. So it's not necessarily an interesting story, apart from the fact that you expected the man with all this information around him and all this, the way his character and so on, to have approached it a different way to the way he did.
And why have you been chosen to go up to him? Because you didn't know what else was in the firing line. Well,
I don't know. I mean, had I been the FOC at that point, that would have been why. Because we had an interesting relationship with the news desk once I became FOC. But it was Peter Miller, I think, who said, used to hear them, but with a smile. He wasn't being funny about it. And I never knew why I was sent up. Why did they should have sent the chief reporter. They should have sent a senior journalist. Right. Why they sent me? Maybe I'd only been there 2 months. I don't think it was because they were trying to get rid of me. Anyway, that was the first thing. That was day one, and that's why I thought, it's worth mentioning, because that's the sort of chap. So that was my first meeting with him, and it wasn't a bad meeting. So that's the first beginning. So then the next one I've got is a benefactor, I'm calling it. I was now FOC. I got the FOC job, not relevant to Maxwell, but just to let you know. I was in the chapel.